Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a weekend. How you doing, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm excited. It is the weekend after all. And we're sneaking right up on the end of September. I mean, that happens next Friday. How did that happen, man? Coming up here, we've got a second scoop since today is a weekend edition. And we got a fun story here. Trial court judge in the Philippines was recently dismissed from duty for his beliefs, and he's publicly saying that he disagrees with being let go. So what does a judge believe? Well, he could see into the future.
Oh, wow.
And that three mystic dwarfs, Armistice, Lewis, and Angel, advised him on making decisions.
Oh.
When the country's Supreme Court heard of the judge's methods, they conducted a 3-year investigation, then fined him, then fired him. Why would that take 3 years?
Well, I would think you would have known he was getting fired if
Yeah.
could have seen that into the future.
The mystical dwarfs probably should have told you something, I guess.
Wow.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. I'll tell you about the whole darn weekend. Saturday, September 24th is Family Health and Fitness Day in the US of A. Fish Amnesty Day. So if you have fish, today is a day to let them go free. It's also International Lace Day, International Rabbit Day, Kids Day for the Kiwanis Club, National Hunting and Fishing Day, National Familial something or Ristomia Day.
There you go.
National Museum Day, National Public Lands Day, National Seat Check Saturday, Nickelodeon Worldwide Day of Play, Punctuation Day, Schweckfelter Thanksgiving Day, and Read in America Day. Then Sunday, Bright Pink Lipstick Day, Gold Star Mother's Day, International Day of the Deaf, Math Storytelling Day, National One Hit Wonder Day, National Psychotherapy Day, National Research Administrators Day, Ataxia Awareness Day, and World Pharmacist Day. Whew!
It's a busy weekend.
Busy weekend.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. It's probably happened to you before. Driving down the road, maybe a little faster than you should have been. Spot a police car. They slow down. When you get to it, you say, wait a minute, there's nobody in that police car. You ever done that before?
No.
Never? You've never been driving down the road going too fast and then spotted a police car and slowed down and realized there's nobody in it?
Yeah, but not when there was nobody in it.
So every time you've got up there's been somebody in it.
Yeah.
Remember one time you turned around in a place you weren't supposed to, and
yes,
there was
I did.
definitely somebody there.
There was definitely somebody there.
Talk to you about it. Anyway, this is another way to get the police get people to slow down. They park cars in specific places, even with nobody in them, and it does work. I've done it. Well, in the United Kingdom, police have tried other methods now as well. One that has worked out really well is using cardboard cutout police officers. So it looks like a police officer standing there with a radar gun.
Right.
But it's just a cardboard cutout. And their latest effort involves using fake sheep on the side of the road.
Sheep?
Yeah. Police in the northern part of the United Kingdom in Cumbria, they placed a stuffed sheep by the roadside. The idea is that motorists will slow down when they see the sheep, thinking that maybe there's others and, they would be afraid to run into a sheep. So there you go. Problem is, every time people drive by, they start counting them and fall asleep. And
oh my gosh.
Accidents galore.
Wow.
Okay, that part is not real.
That was lame.
I know it was. But the good news is they only have one. So if you only count one sheep, I think you're probably okay. Is it still sheep if it's just one? One sheep or 12 sheep?
It's a sheep.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whole herd of sheep?
Yes.
And there's still just one sheep?
A herd is called sheepin.
And the whole sheep? No, they're not sheepin. Why do I even ask you things like this? Don't believe that, but do believe that there's cardboard cutouts of police officers and stuffed sheeps on the side of the road. Not sheeps, stuffed sheep in the UK. You know that's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. While many teenagers use the social media to boast about doing dumb things like using drugs, a young man from Pennsylvania apparently was really not that smart. His brain on drugs moment came when he made the brilliant decision to pose for a photo with a gun and a bag of pot and then post it online.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Among those logging on was a local detective who thought, ooh, that looks pretty real. Decided to launch a real investigation, and the teenager was in real trouble, charged with possession of illegal firearms because he wasn't old enough to have that, and charged with possession of a controlled substance.
What an idiot.
That's also illegal. So, yeah, you might want to not do that kind of stuff. So, for those of you on social media, be sure to like our page. We got a lot of fun stuff there, but don't share photos like that. It'll only get you in trouble.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Two would-be bank robbers spent all night waiting inside a bank in San Francisco after attacking a janitor and forcing their way inside the night before. When the first teller arrived in the morning, these guys told her, open the vault. And she said, I can't. It takes two of us. But I have an idea. The bank manager was outside having a smoke. I'll walk out and get him, and then we'll come back in and we'll unlock it for you. And these genius Mensa bank robbers said, okay. And she walked outside and, of course, did not get the bank manager, but did get some police to come back with her. Believe it or not, they were still waiting inside thinking that she was going to do what she was going to do. When she did come back in, they're like, that took forever. And there's two officers with her. Wait a minute. You guys don't look like the manager. Yeah, that happened in San Francisco with a couple of really smart criminals. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Heidi, I didn't know that there was such a thing as right and wrong way to wear a kilt. I thought there was only wrong ways.
I didn't know that either.
Strange choices when it comes to fashion for some. And I shouldn't make fun of kilts. Maybe if I wore one, I'd like it. I don't know. I just don't really feel like wearing one.
You're not of Scottish?
So?
Scottish
What
descent?
if I feel like wearing a kilt? You telling me that Germans
I would
couldn't wear kilts?
not be married to you if you walked around in a kilt.
So should I be wearing... What do
First of all, I
Germans wear?
don't think kilts are long enough for you.
Okay, well, that's what this is for. Why? What are you trying to say? Just leave me alone. Strange fashion choices with kilts. A Scottish kilt, believe it or not, should never come below the middle of your knee. If it's below the middle of your knee, that kilt is too long.
Ah.
It's now a dress. So you don't want, now you're wearing a dress. That's too long. It should never come above a certain area too, I'm sure. So whatever that is. If it's any shorter than that, it's just a belt. For a contest sponsored by Nokia, a designer created a cell phone that emits odors from the location of the caller to make it seem as though they're right there with you.
Oh my gosh.
Who needs this? Can you imagine?
How many people make
know.
phone calls from the bathroom? Do we
I
really
don't think
want
that's
this
a good
feature?
idea. Yeah, I can only imagine Tuesdays with Charlie would be a whole lot different around here. A team of international scientists just spent a year living inside an isolated Mars-like habitat on top of Hawaii's Mauna Loa volcano. Nailed it linguistically, I'm sure. Probably not even close. According to Sheena Gifford, Chief Medical and Safety Officer of the 4th Hawaii Space Exploration and Analog and Simulation, they said the biggest challenges came from a sense of helplessness. They said when things went wrong on Earth, whether it was a terrorist attack or flooding in Louisiana or a family member's death, trying to find a way to help from there is very difficult. A 6-man crew emerged from their dome just a little over a week ago, free of their spacesuits for the first time in a full year. Would you like to do that?
No, thank you.
They
Not
were-
even a little. Not
were-
even a little.
Doing this as a test to see if they could maybe go to Mars. So, A new survey found that the average U.S. worker admits to wasting more than 2 hours a day at the workplace. That's what they admit to. It's more like 4.
It's worse than that.
Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some people. We were just recently in a building. I won't even say what kind of business it was. But I think the majority of the people that were in that building were wasting their entire day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what do all these people do here? Like, do they have a job doing what? It's just, you could do the same thing with staff of 2, and they have like 12. So I don't know. Hey, according to a study, people with higher incomes report less loneliness, and nobody knows why. You're saying if you have more money, people want to hang out with you?
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows what's going on there. Hey, scientist Matthew Bayliss has been given the assignment of finding signs of alien life on other planets. However, he warns if aliens contact us, we should think twice before replying, saying any creature from outer space capable of sending out a signal would more than likely be more intelligent than we are. Think about that for a second. We're looking for life out there. One of the guys getting paid, a scientist getting paid to look for life, is saying, yeah, if we do find it, they're going to be smarter than we are. So do we really want to reply? You just let the phone ring. I mean, don't answer that. Clearly, we're not going to know what they're talking about. A new report says cocoa extract may help prevent Alzheimer's. This is the second story this week about something in the way of Alzheimer's research.
I love cocoa.
I do too. According to a study conducted at the School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, a specific preparation of cocoa extract prevents a protein in the brain from gradually forming sticky clumps, which are known to damage nerve cells and help Alzheimer's progress. So earlier this week, we talked about air pollution causing also. Go to a place where there's no air pollution and drink plenty of hot
lots
cocoa.
of cocoa
There you go.
extract.
Sounds like a great place to retire. Coming up, we've got your second scoop. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your second scoop, since it is a weekend edition. While Instagram data can already be used to guess your age, a new research paper shows how it might also be used to check upon your mental health. Using a set of machine learning tools and several dozen users' Instagram feeds, a team of researchers from Harvard University and the University of Vermont have built a model that can accurately spot signs of clinical depression by reviewing color analysis, metadata components, and the algorithmic face detection in each user's feed. The model was able to correctly identify which Instagrammers, is that a way to say it? Instagrammers?
I have no idea.
Apparently it is. It shows which Instagrammers showed symptoms of depression, and it was correct about 70% of the time, and many times before they had even been clinically diagnosed. So this knew that they had issues before they knew that they had issues. How crazy is that? Italian, I wonder if maybe when they said, according to this, you're crazy. And they're like, really? Let me check. Oh, wow, I am crazy. Italian researchers say that contagious yawning occurs at a faster rate among friends and family than it does among strangers. So if somebody you know and love yawns and it causes you to yawn, that means you do know and love them. And if there's somebody around you that yawns and it doesn't affect you, maybe you don't like that person. Hey, parents may not equate McDonald's Happy Meals with physical fitness, but the fast food giant is trying to change all of that with a new set of kids' toys. Instead of plastic figurines or books or plush toys, Mickey D's is giving away activity trackers with Happy Meals in the U.S. and Canada for a limited time. It says here that Step It trackers are part of a promotional campaign aimed at getting kids moving again. The fitness trackers, which come in 6 colors, count steps and blink according to how quickly or slowly a person wearing the device is moving. That's
a good idea.
If your 7-year-old son comes home from school with the flu, he probably caught it from another boy rather than from a girl, according to research. It says here they're checking to see how does the flu spread. Scientists researching the spread of H1N1 in elementary school classes found that boys typically transmit the infection to other boys.
Well, of course they do. How many 7-year-olds do you know that want to hang out with girls? That's a
And
dumb study.
Girls pass it on to other girls. In fact, grade school guys are 3 times more likely to spread the flu than girls are. So it's because boys have germs and we're yucky. What is it? Boys drool and girls rule? Is that what our daughter used to say? Something like that. Something along. If I got it right.
That's a ridiculous study.
I know.
At
You
that
know what?
age, they don't want to hang out with the opposite sex. It's a
There you go.
ridiculous study. Now
Some
do
of-
that same study amongst high school kids, and let's see what those results are.
Hubba, hubba. Bow, bow, bow. Hey, the number of cremations in the U.S. is approaching 50%. More and more people are instructing their loved ones to spread their ashes around after they've died. While the spreading of ashes is often legal with permission and permits, some family members do so without permission and without permits. And that is an act in the funeral industry known as wildcat scattering. So is that how you want to be? Just throw me wherever.
It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to be that anyway.
So
I mean, I'll be gone. I'll be long gone. So
Here's
all
what
that
Heidi
is
wants.
just,
what Heidi wants for real, she wants to be turned into a statue.
I do.
She wants her ashes mixed with concrete, and she calls it cremation
Cremation
creations.
creation.
And we've been trying to find somebody that could actually do this. I've gotten hung up on so many times. So let me ask you something.
Somebody will do it.
Calling a concrete place. So how can you doing some funeral planning here? Just wondering, could you do this? Hello? Hey, it's not just a people problem. Growing rates, can't even speak about it. Growing rates of obesity in pets has emerged a whole new line of things called fat farms for pets. One is paw lattes.
Are you kidding?
Another one is Doga. And another one is Barco Polo. They're all versions of Pilates yoga
Oh
and
my
Marco Polo.
gosh.
Anyway, in the U.S., 53% of dogs are overweight or obese. Now, I got to say, even though
Our dogs are
we
not.
You know, I am. My dog is skinny, scrawny.
Yeah, they are. Both of them
They
are.
sit at the base of the table like, can you throw something down here, fatty? I mean, something. Come on. Give me a bone or something. Anyway, 53% of dogs are overweight or obese, up from 45% just 4 years ago. In fact, cats are even fatter. 58% of cats are overweight. Dr. Ernie Ward, a veterinarian and founder of the Association of Pet Obesity Prevention, and that's in Calabash, North Carolina, says that overweight pets can suffer from diabetes and joint problems and heart disease and also decrease life expectancy just like obese people. So be careful what you're feeding to Fido or Frisky out there. So there you go.
There you go.
Coming up, we've got a lot of fun stuff on a weekend edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
During the course of a year, the average person walks 4 miles to make their bed. How many miles do I walk?
Not any. You never make the
I'm gonna go
bed.
backwards even. You do all the time.
Every day.
I think it's funny because there was one day where you didn't make the bed, and I went in to go to bed, and the bed was still messy, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And
It's
you didn't
not
even-
awesome. It
was
feels
awesome. I was like,
gross
"No, it's
getting
all right."
into a bed that hasn't
You know,
been made.
I read a story. Now we're going to completely miss a bunch of awesome stuff here. I read a story that said if you don't make your bed, the chances of having bed bugs goes down to like almost nothing because they can't survive if you leave your bed open like that. So back to this. Fun fact for you, Heidi. When Heinz launched their green ketchup in 2000, it delivered the highest increase in sales in the history of Heinz.
Yeah, but it didn't,
Didn't
last long.
No, because then people were like,
Everybody
"Oh,
wanted to try it, but then they realized that's
it's
really
weird."
tough to eat.
We tried it, and it tasted exactly the same. You had to just close your eyes while
It's
you're
just
eating
hard to eat.
Hey.
And the purple, too. They had
it. Oh,
purple.
that was even worse. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Great Pyramids of Egypt now stand 3 miles south of where they were originally built. That's how much the Earth's surface has shifted in 4,500 years. 3 miles. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how they know that. I think they're
I
just
don't know how they
guessing.
know that either.
I was here 4,500 years ago, and these used to be further north. All right, couple of fun facts for you on a weekend.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a weekend. Just the other day, we watched a video on YouTube, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. And it's one that you had watched earlier about people with dumb answers on game shows.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if any of those are on here, but the people at Jumping Jack's Bar assembled some of the dumbest answers given to easy questions on things like University Challenge. I'd never heard of that. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then some regional programs as well. So question number 1, what happened in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963? The contestant said, I don't know, I wasn't watching it back then.
Oh, funny.
No,
Oh my gosh, that's
that was
hilarious.
the day Kennedy was shot. That's what happened, for those of you who don't know. Question, which American actor is married to Nicole Kidman? The answer, I think it's Forrest Gump.
What?
No, it's not
Not
Forrest
even
Gump.
close.
All right. Who is married to Nicole Kidman?
It was Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Is he now? Or who is
No,
now?
I don't have it. I think she's divorced now.
Another question here. Name a film starring Bob Hoskins that is also the name of a famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci. The answer, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Wow.
Question, in which European city was the first opera house opened in 1637? Which European city? The answer was it Sydney? Sydney is in Australia. No. How long did the 6-day war between Egypt and Israel last? After a long pause, long pause, the contestant finally said, was it 14 days? Question, what is the currency in India? And their answer was Ramadan. No. And then the final question here was, Johnny Wesselmuller died on this day. Which jungle-swinging character clad only in a loincloth did he portray? And the answer was it Jesus?
Oh my gosh.
No, it was Tarzan. And the ones that I didn't answer, it's because I don't know for sure.
Wow.
All right, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
According to Dr. Michael Rosen, co-author of a book called You, the Owner's Manual, all you have to do is close your eyes and lift 1 foot off the ground. The longer you can stand on one leg without falling, the better your brain is functioning. So this is a test we can all do. The book indicates balancing on 1 foot for 28 seconds is good for people in their 20s to 30s. 23 seconds is good for people aged 31 to 40. And 15 seconds is good for old people like us between 41 and 60. So again, You, the Owner's Manual is the name of the book. All you have to do is close your eyes, lift 1 foot off the ground. We'll try that and see if we don't fall down before we come back.
Yeah, let's
you gonna
try
try
that.
it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll both do that, and then we'll be back in a bit. And we're going to talk about a guy that blew up his house. That's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
And we're back with the John and Heidi Show now that we've broken a bunch of stuff in the studio.
That was really sad.
We were trying to do, and I have this on our Facebook page too, so you can do this test as well. You're supposed to be able to close your eyes and lift 1 foot off the ground. And if you're old like us, you're supposed to be able to do that for 15 seconds. Heidi did it for 3 seconds. I did it for about like 2.5.
It's really hard. It's easy to do when your eyes are open,
Yeah.
but as soon as you close your eyes, you tip over.
I don't understand why. That is weird. Anyway, Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. All the details there if you want to try that at home. Make sure you do it where you won't fall and break something.
Exactly.
Because you're going to fall. Hey, a German man blew his house up trying to cook sausages as a birthday treat. He went in, found his gas was off. 47-year-old Berlin man decided to use his cooker and hook it directly to the gas line. Then he lit a cigarette and exploded the roof right off of his home. Shouldn't laugh. He injured himself and 6 other people.
Oh,
So
my.
7 people, including him and his girlfriend. All he was trying to do was make a sausage. blew the roof right off the house. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Preaching, welcome, style of worship, and location are the 4 most important factors when Christians are searching for a new church. I would agree with that. Those are pretty important things. Of these, which one do you think is the most important? Preaching, welcome, style of worship, or location?
I would say style of worship for me is
According
most
to this,
important.
The most important is quality of the sermon, so the preaching. According to a new Pew Research
But
study...
isn't that the same thing as
No.
the kind of worship? I mean, because...
Style of worship, because there are some churches that are, very traditional style, and there's others where it's, more upbeat style, so I think that's the style. So preaching would be
yeah,
the sermon
the sermon
itself.
would be...
I think
yeah,
that's kind of what
agree.
you meant.
Yep.
I know what you meant, not what you said.
Right.
Yeah.
You usually know what I mean and not
know
what I
you
say.
mean. Yeah, I know. I can read between the lines. We've been married a long time, and I speak Heidi. I get it. I also speak drunk Heidi, which is way more fun. But we can't let her on the radio anymore.
No, we did that once.
It was a bad idea. Nearly half of the American adults who attended religious services regularly found themselves needing to look for a new congregation at some point in their life. More than 8 in 10 of those surveyed cited the quality of preaching as the biggest influence of their choice. Nearly as many said it was as important to feel welcomed. 3/4 say the style of worship helped them choose. Again, the top 4 were location, style of worship, welcome, and preaching. And we liked the preaching so well at the church we went to in a different community that we still go there, but we do it online now.
Yes.
Because we liked it
Because
so
I
much.
really like the messages.
And every once in a while we get to go back to that area and we get to go and be with the people. That's really cool too. But awesome message. I mean, just amazing message. So fun stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. I got some good news coming up. I've got this here too, and I'm trying to think why I have this. I saved this apparently because I thought it was worth sharing. It says, religious leaders and institutions have taken part in efforts to address important social issues throughout American history, from slavery to civil rights to advocacy in areas reducing poverty. But according to a recent Pew Research study, I think I was going to read this with the last Pew Research study, but we talked too long. It says here, Americans are appearing to grow more skeptical of how much of a difference their church can make, or their temple, or their house of worship. So it's not just Christians, but all people. A majority of U.S. adults say they still think religious institutions contribute either a great deal or some to solving problems that are social, but the combined figure of 58% has fallen significantly in recent years. About 4 in 10 Americans now say religious institutions don't make a big of contribution as they used to.
I
So,
would agree with that. I don't think they make as big a contribution as they should.
And I
with
think
the resources that they're getting.
And I think part of that is I think they have fewer resources than they've had in the past because there are fewer people that are
I
giving.
don't know. Churches are getting bigger and bigger and fancier, and
That
you
could be
can't tell
part of
me
it.
that those resources couldn't be going to the things that the Bible demands those resources to go to.
There you go. Let's get to the good news because we always try to end on a positive note. So calm down, Heidi.
I'm just saying.
All right, this may come as a surprise to some married folks, but staying hitched through thick and thin is good for your long-term health. Hey, we are going to be so... I mean, we've been through a lot. We're married, and I mean, there have been times she wanted to kill me, and I'm still here. I thank God that I am. New study shows that divorced, widowed, and never wed have more chronic health problems than people who stayed married through thick and thin. This doesn't come from me. This comes from research at University of Chicago and Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. They found that divorced and widowed people experience 20% more health woes, including heart disease and cancer and diabetes, than those with a spouse that's still around. So that's pretty darn cool. There's more to the story, but that's all we have time for. So interesting stuff. They're saying, hey, stick around through thick and thin, fight it out, and then that same stuff that's in you will fight off those diseases too.
There you go.
Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. We appreciate you listening to The John and Heidi Show.